So last week I released a video called Rolling in Their Graves. It was pretty well received, and I thought it was well under the guidelines that YouTube uses for determining whether a video can be monetized or not. And whenever I say monetized, I mean have ads on it. And then I got on, like the other day, and saw that my video had been hit by that little yellow money sign that means limited or no ads. Okay, so I'm willing to work with the system because I know that it's important that everything works well. So I decided that I would apply for a manual review. The reason I had to request a manual review is because the system that they have in place currently that goes through and decides whether a video is monetizable or not is an automated system. But then I saw something when I was asking for a review that said I needed 1,000 views in 7 days for them to even take a look at it. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that YouTube is intentionally being nasty or mean to specifically me or to specifically creators in general. We all know why this is the way it is. The fact that controversial content is uploaded all the time, and they can't manually review everything because 300 hours of videos are uploaded every minute, and there's no way they could possibly moderate that. But this got me thinking. I started to think about how these changes could possibly change the future of YouTube. Before I continue, I've got to say that I'm starting this research from a place of bias. Getting 1,000 views in 7 days is a difficult task. Most of my views are made over an extended period of time, and the older videos that have been hit with the yellow money sign take even longer, although I'm not so much worried about them as I am for the newer videos. And also, you have to remember, my channel is smaller in comparison to all the others. It's a growing thing. In relation to all the other more important channels, my channel is very nearly completely insignificant. And I kind of thought that going in, I would discover that YouTube's changes were crippling what it used to be known for, a place where you could grow a career doing something you loved. I started this by looking at the history of YouTube, and it was a pretty daunting task because a lot of the information isn't out there. It all started in 2005, and YouTube was supposed to be a dating website, but that idea was scrapped, and it became what we know now as YouTube. Anyone could upload anything at first, which wasn't a great idea, but it changed, so that's good. And 2005, I think, is the year that Fred and Smosh were created. In 2006, Google bought the site for $1.65 million, and it was coined the next step in the evolution of the internet. This was around the time that Machinima, Freddie W, Nigga Higga, and College Humor came onto the scene. This was also the time that they started putting ads on the videos. Then, in 2007, Google announced the YouTube Partner Program. People would begin to earn money for their videos. The only requirements were that you created original content and had built and maintained an audience. It was originally given out to people who are already prolific, but not long after it was opened for anyone to apply. 2008 was the year of 720p resolution. It was also the year that Shane Dawson and Ray William Johnson started uploading. This was also the point in time when YouTube became a bit more strict about what they were allowing on their site. They wanted to get rid of pornography, demote videos with profanity so they'd be found less. They wanted to make sure that everything misleading, like clickbait and misleading thumbnails, was completely removed. YouTube took a step up to 1080p resolution in 2009. This was the year that Maker Studios was founded. You might also remember Susan Boyle, David After Dentist, and The Lonely Island's I'm on a Boat. When I got to 2010, that's when I really noticed how much YouTube truly cared about their creators. Up until then, there were a lot of pieces about some bigger creators, but my 2010 research was when I really got the sense that YouTube was not only proud of itself, but also of everyone else on the platform. This was the year of Jenna Marbles, Real Annoying Orange, and Epic Mealtime. This was also the year of the first official YouTube partner meetup, the Partners Communications Hub, and it was the year of the first Rewind. It was a good year. In 2011, there was a startlingly large number of YouTube blog posts dedicated to spreading information on how to do better on YouTube. However, actually relevant information about how YouTube was changing began to decrease. From what I can tell, this was the year that there was a large change in channel layouts, but beyond that, nothing changed. In 2012, a ton of idle accounts got deleted, and I'm guessing this was a time when there was a large sub drop all over the platform. It was called the YouTube Armageddon. It's kind of funny that all the big changes we are all scared of get named after some kind of existence-ending disaster. Tells a lot about the platform. If you remember Gangnam Style, this was the year of that. Also, while doing research on 2012, YouTube news became less about notable important changes on YouTube and more about how well the site was doing. In fact, while looking at their blog, I found no mention of the change from prioritizing views to prioritizing watch time, but that was a change that happened. I had to go back and add this in. Because I figured it out later. 2013 was the year that I arrived on YouTube. This was also the year of What Does the Fox Say? During my research, I noticed that a lot of news YouTube has on their blogs for this year was largely revolving around musical content. This was also the year they worked on comments, making them better and easier to moderate. Another thing I had to go back and add was that the Google Plus craziness started this year. People were required to use Google Plus or they couldn't comment on videos, and there was no mention of this on the YouTube blog. In this year, every channel was given the ability to live stream. 2014, the year they changed the look of YouTube again. I remember there was a lot of hate over this, but turns out it worked fine. The trend I'm noticing is that the YouTube news has become more and more about talking about bigger brands and less about the smaller creators. There has been this on the rise thing YouTube would do, but not much beyond that. YouTube Red hit the scene in 2015. There was a bit of controversy, but after a little bit of working, it was accepted pretty openly. In fact, YouTube Red was one of those changes that got very little hate but did a lot for the platform. They also made even more changes to the comment system and abolished the required connection to Google+. Thank God. In 2016, YouTube Heroes became a thing. This year of research was actually really refreshing. There was a steady rise of YouTube talking about creators that made up their platform and less about the bigger brands. However, beyond the YouTube Heroes thing, not much happened. Except that this was when Jake and Logan Paul started to blow up. And we all know about 2017, the year of the adpocalypse. So many channels have already gone into detail about what happened, so I'll be brief. Advertisers backed out after PewDiePie made an insensitive joke. YouTube updated its system to better combat bad content. The most notable of these updates were both the automated system for flagging bad content and the 10,000 view requirement to start monetizing videos. Looking over the history of YouTube, I can see why many of the systems have been put into place, but I also feel that YouTube stopped talking to the creators openly about the larger issues and changes they had to make. A lot of the 2010 plus info I had to get from secondary sources that wasn't YouTube's blog. The thing is, you can tell YouTube cares just by looking at the history, but there is an unsettling trend that I hope they work on. Personally, I feel nostalgia when looking at old YouTube, and hope when I look at the future of YouTube. This doesn't change the fact that it feels like YouTube is pushing aside new users. YouTube was built on the idea that anyone could get on, upload videos, and grow into something bigger. Most of the biggest YouTubers of history have started from the most humble of beginnings. However, the policies that are in place right now make it very hard for a new user to start making and grow. This scares me because without that fresh, original, and growing content, YouTube could become a place that is stale and risks being forgotten. Before I end this, I should say that all of my findings are in ignorance of the stats. Judging by stats alone, YouTube is doing better than ever. Millions of people go to YouTube, and the number is growing. So, maybe YouTube won't die, but it will change. And if that happens, I have to wonder where the new creators will go to create their content. And I guess that's it. Thanks for bearing with another one of my whims. See you next time.